Before we get into this, I'm serious when I say that this is one of the easiest things I've ever done to any vehicle. Close your eyes and imagine. You've ridden too many miles in Illinois and your tires are square because Illinois has exactly 0 curved roads. You need new tires, but you know that ridiculous dealership hourly rate is lurking in the shadows of their service department. Let's hope this video gives you the confidence you need to do it yourself. You can open your eyes now, this is a video after all. As always, let's take a look at the tools for the job. I'll run through them all quickly and then explain my reasoning for each. First, you need a rear stand. I don't know if that's a tool per se, but you do need to get the rear tire off the ground. I also use a 1/2-inch impactor, a 1/2 to 3/4 adapter, and a 3/4 drive 55mm 12-point socket. And make sure you have a torque wrench and grease. I'm going to spend some time explaining a few things, but if you don't care about that, skip to this time. This is a 12-point socket, not a 6. You get a 6, you're gonna have a bad time.
You're gonna have a bad time.
You don't need an impactor, but it'll certainly make your life easier. This is a picture of a mechanic at the dealership where I bought my 1299. I've heard horror stories that these nuts have been on so tight that they ratchet strap the rear wheel to the lift and a guy sits on the bike and holds the rear brake and it only turns when they use a torque multiplier with a long pipe on the end for leverage. But you don't need an impactor. My gun happens to be a 1/2-inch drive and the 55mm socket is a 3/4 inch, so this adapter is the solution. Also, it's much safer to go from a smaller to a larger drive than it is going the other way. The reason being a larger drive can withstand more torque. When you're putting the wheel back on, you're going to need a torque wrench capable of 230 Newton meters or 170 foot-pounds of torque. Please don't use an impactor to tighten this ring. My little impactor can do more than 5 times the necessary torque, and that's probably the reason people have trouble taking these nuts off. Last, and probably least, the grease. The service manual periodically instructs you to grease things by showing a little picture. I'm convinced that the recommended grease isn't available in the United States, so after much Googling, this CV joint grease revealed itself to be the closest match. Well, it better be anyway, because I'm using it. Grab your stand and lift the rear wheel. My stand can go on either side, so make sure you don't block the side that you're about to work on. Remove the clip and impact the nut off with the 55mm 12-point socket. That's all you need to do to remove the wheel. You can throw this wheel and a new rear tire in your car and take it to the shop to save a few bucks. In my case, I wasted 2 months of summer trying to coordinate this part with a friend of a friend who happened to have access to a tire changer. But I digress. Once the new tire is on the wheel, grease the alignment pins, the shaft threads, and the nut. When you place the wheel back onto the shaft, make sure you seat the pins in the wheel. Put the spacer on the shaft with the bevel end towards the wheel, followed by the washer, and finally the nut. Grab your torque wrench and set it to 230 Newton meters or 170 foot-pounds and tighten it while holding the rear brake. When you've reached the recommended torque, the clip hole will line up. Replace the clip and that's it! You did it! As always, thanks for watching. No spoilers, but be sure to watch the video for the front wheel. If this happens to be the first video of mine that you've seen, take a gander at my other content that features the Ducati 1299. Until next time, hopefully this video's made an impact.